Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask, Heidi. It's Monday, the 25th day of March. We're almost done with March. Holy cow. We just started with March. International
Goes
Day.
faster and faster all the time.
International Day of Solidarity with detained and missing staff members. That's sad. What else do we have here? National Cerebral Palsy Day, National Day of Celebrating of Greek and American Democracy, National Lobster Newberg Day, National Medal of Honor Day, National Tolkien Reading Day. What do we have? Is there something fun on here? Oh, National Waffle Day. Let's go with that one. That's the one I'm going to celebrate. All this other stuff is kind of heavy today, isn't it?
Sounds a little heavy.
World Retrospective Day. Oh, man, there's a lot of stuff going on here. All of that happening. And it is a Movie Star Monday. And I'm so excited to visit with David Morse. Now, he has been in so many of my favorite movies. He was in a little movie called The Green Mile. He's one of the guards. He's the really big dude. And then he was in another movie that I really like called Contact. He was the dad in that movie. He's been in so many other movies and TV shows. And he's in one right now that's done, let me look and see it's done really well. Cabrini. Holy cow, they've done well. It's in theaters right now. And we're going to chat with him all about that film coming up.
Give yourself a little credit.
I've been telling you about BetterCreditCards.com for a few years now. I'd love for you to take a few minutes today to check out the website. Who knows? You might find a better credit card, one that offers a better rate, or a credit card that offers cash back, airline miles, or other points and perks that can help you. Check it out now.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to BetterCreditCards.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. With more and more workers heading back into the office these days, risks from the pandemic are easing. Employers are having to address a new issue. Some people have forgotten how to behave around people. They're talking about in-office etiquette. So they have to do some training now to say, okay, you can't do that.
Can't say that anymore.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
No. One survey found more than 60% of companies plan to implement some sort of etiquette courses as staff is coming back into the office. Some of the most common faux pas that exist, not being mindful of their volume when on the phone. I could see that. I'm very loud. And there are times like if I'm just making a regular call, like not an interview or whatever, I'll actually leave the room because I'm like, I don't want everybody upset with me for being so loud. Leaving a mess around the office. Well, I'm 2 for 2. Inappropriate office conversations, 3 for 3. Inappropriate attire. Well, this is okay. Well, it's not quite. Novel length emails and people sending emojis and acronyms that might have double or triple meanings. So they'll send something thinking it means this thing.
They just get too used to doing, whatever they wanted at home.
Surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
Insurance. It's important to have insurance, but it's more important to have the right insurance. After all, if you're not covered, it's like not even having insurance. Make sure you're covered for whatever claim might come your way with InsuranceChicken.com, helping you peck out great insurance deals in your area. You need insurance on your car anyway. Why not get great rates for great insurance from InsuranceChicken.com? That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Heidi, did you know that scientists claim that they have discovered the worst and the best times of the day? Yeah. University of Michigan and Dartmouth Health say that 5 a.m. is officially the worst time of the day. Based on mood, circadian clock, and other factors, 5 a.m. According to their study published in the PLOS Digital Health Journal, they found that the 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. hours when people reported their lowest mood, regardless of what time they get up. By contrast, when do you think is the best, cheeriest time of the day?
5:30 p.m.
Close, 5 p.m. So that same hour. So you're right. I'll give you credit for that. By contrast, the best hour of the day is 5 to 6 p.m. So the worst is 5 to 6 a.m. The best is 5 to 6 p.m.
Probably because 5 to 6 a.m. you're getting up, you're getting ready to go to work. 5 to 6 p.m. you're off of work and you're going home.
I personally love mornings. So I'm not a
fan.
I'm not normal. That's what I was going to try to say. All right. We don't know everything, but now we definitely know this. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. Brad Pitt has reportedly spent $10 million on legal fees in his fight with his ex-wife, Angelina Jolie, over their French vineyard. They split in 2016.
They're still working
Yeah,
on this?
there's a marathon battle over money. There's 6
Wow.
children and the estate, the Chateau Mirabeau. It's in France. That's how you say it properly. He's suing his ex for allegedly breaching their contract after she sold her share to a Russian oligarch, allegedly without Pitt's agreement. The Page Six is quoting a source saying he spent an estimated $10 million on legal fees so far. So they're not even done. And Kristen Wiig says the short answer is no. Because they're like, so you can do another bridesmaid movie? Everybody's super excited. They want her to do it. And she's like, no. I'm just not. No. So, okay. Thank you.
What'd she say?
She said no.
Okay.
Well, it goes on, but there's a lot of no's. It's just no. And it appears as though the next search for the next James Bond is over. Aaron Taylor Johnson reportedly offered the role. So everybody's been wondering who. Well, now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
What could you do with an extra $129 a month? In this economy, every penny counts. So an extra $129 each month would absolutely help. Well, 97% of us have a cell phone, and the average person pays $144 a month. Mint Mobile can help you save a mint. At just $15 a month, that's an average savings of $129 each month. It's time for a Mintervention. Switch and save today. Get this special offer at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. The Pentagon just released a new UFO report that claims there is, quote, no evidence that authorities covered up extraterrestrial life, end quote. Yeah, they got rid of the evidence.
Came from the Pentagon. Like they're going to say, yeah, our bad.
Here's the thing, though. They just recently released a whole bunch of stuff where they're going, okay, we have no idea what any of these things are. So here's now proof from the government saying, here's an object that we don't know what this is. Here's an object. They had that hidden for years. So you just got done saying in this report there's no evidence that they covered up. Okay, you covered up that for 50 years.
We're not going to tell you about it anymore for another 50 years.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but welcome to the party. Let's conspire for a bit. And 50% of women say they would dump a guy if he hadn't proposed after 5 years of dating.
Well, 5 years. Who would
It's a
stick
pretty long
around
time.
5 years?
I don't know. We were dating, 5 months?
It wasn't even.
5 minutes. Something like that. And with the upcoming solar eclipse on April the 8th, many people will demonstrate unusual behavior, specifically traveling to a thin band of geography known as the area of totality. I don't think that's weird. Paying outrageous sums of money for accommodations just to observe what amounts to 150 seconds of darkness that we're not supposed to be looking at anyway without special glasses. But what about animals? A team of researchers headed by North Carolina State University plans to congregate at the Fort Worth Zoo in Texas, which will experience the solar eclipse, to study certain animals during that time to determine whether they repeat the same odd behavior that were observed during America's eclipse of 2017. At that time, giraffes were seen to gather and break into gallop, which is rare for them. Tortoises began to mate, and gorillas started to get ready for bed. So high vocal animals communicate with one another, often like elephants, flamingos, and parrots, will be of particular interest to the scientists. They're also inviting members of the public to submit their own animal observations, including pets, pigeons, squirrels, livestock, and woodland creatures. So they're going, hey, if you don't want to look up in the sky at that sun that's like blocked out, look around at the critters and see what they're doing, and then tell us.
That sounds like fun.
I think so, too. Scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-310-5831. 800-310-5831. That's 800-310-5831.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Movie Star Monday. Our guest today, David Morse. He's a very great actor. He's been in a bunch of my favorite movies. The Green Mile, love that movie. A movie called Contact, I love that. Other TV shows, other movies as well. And David, you're in a movie right now called Cabrini, and the character you're playing is a real person. How different is that when you're playing a real person as a character?
You know, it's really a challenge to play real people. Part of what you want to do is you want to honor them. And sometimes they aren't people they aren't the nicest people. So the challenge to honor them is a little more intense. I played people like George Washington in the John Adams series. I played Mike Webster in a movie called Concussion. He was the center for the Steelers. This man, Archbishop Corrigan, it was in the 1800s. So I had to try to find any material I could about him, read about him, which is, there wasn't a lot there, but I found enough to get a good sense of who he was. The people who wrote the script had done a lot of research, and I really didn't have to go far from the script because a lot of it was right there. But like I said, the challenge is you really do want to honor them.
Again, the movie Cabrini is in theaters right now, and it's based on a true story. And some of the things in the movie I knew about, but some I didn't know about. David, were you familiar with the story ahead of time?
I knew nothing about Mother Cabrini. I'm here in Philadelphia, and Cabrini University is here. So I knew the name, and I knew the name from other institutions or neighborhoods. It's a name where I think a lot of us are familiar with, but I knew nothing about her. And reading the script was my first introduction. And the Eustace Wolfington and Rod Barr, who were, really got this thing going, they had done literally years of research into her. So it's really, really well put together.
And with this being a true story based in the 1800s, it's a period piece. So no cell phones, no cars or any of that. How different is it working on a film like that?
I love doing period pieces. Just putting on the wardrobe, the costume, the wardrobe for this archbishop. It feels, you feel changed by it. It's like it almost does half the acting job for you. We shot it actually in Buffalo. They created the whole world of 1800s New York up in Buffalo. So to be in some of these grand mansions that the archbishop did his work in, it's part of what's so much fun about acting is getting to go do that stuff and be a part of that. It doesn't matter where you go. If I go up to the Andes, shoot a movie in the Andes in South America, or be in Buffalo playing this period piece. I love just as an actor being changed by the worlds that we're shooting in.
And it's not just based on where you go, but also based on when you go. This is from the 1800s, The Green Mile, also a period piece. And that movie was such a huge, huge hit. Did you have any idea how big of a deal that movie was going to be?
I was actually the first one cast in that movie. Frank called me. We'd done a little thing together on HBO that he wrote. He didn't direct it. Dick Donner actually directed it. So we had met. And when he did the script, I'd already read the Stephen King novelettes of The Green Mile, and I loved them. When he called me and asked if I'd do the role of Brutus, I was already hyped because I loved the book. And when I read the script, I couldn't believe he was asking me to do this role. It was so beautiful, this script. And clearly it was really a big deal in Hollywood. Everyone wanted to be a part of it. He had done Shawshank Redemption before that, which had obviously a lot of success. And Tom Hanks wasn't a part of it yet. And when Tom got on board, it really went to another level. And casting the role of John Coffey, I was there when they were doing screen tests, and a lot of basketball players who we all were familiar with who came in and were auditioning for the role. And I didn't know, none of us knew who Michael was. He had only done 2 little things in movies before. And the first day we all met him and heard that voice and felt his presence, you could just sense that there was something really special about this movie. Absolutely. It turned out to be true.
And there's absolutely something special about the film that you're in right now. It's in theaters. It's called Cabrini. We've got David Morse joining us. David, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for bringing this character to life.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that, and I'm glad to be with you today.
Again, the film is in theaters right now. It's called Cabrini. I've got a link to the trailer and more information in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Give yourself a little credit.
I've been telling you about BetterCreditCards.com for a few years now. I'd love for you to take a few minutes today to check out the website. Who knows? You might find a better credit card, one that offers a better rate, or a credit card that offers cash back, airline miles, or other points and perks that can help you. Check it out now.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to BetterCreditCards.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Sharks are the only fish that can blink. Other fish cannot blink. They have no eyelids, but sharks can. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Couples who diet while on vacation argue 3 times more often.
I'm sure. There's lots of stuff they want to be eating. They're on vacation.
Sometimes I'm like, hey, let's stop and try that place. You're like, we've already eaten. We're not eating again. That was my impression of Heidi on a diet. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The average adult spends more time on the toilet than they do exercising.
Yeah, that's accurate in our household.
Oh, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Kilts are not native to Scotland. They originated in France.
Oh,
Doesn't surprise me at all.
I did not know that.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Dirty snow melts faster than clean snow. That's kind of cool. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Your fingernails on your dominant hand grow faster than the fingernails on your non-dominant hand.
Interesting.
Yeah, several fun facts. Now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Insurance. It's important to have insurance, but it's more important to have the right insurance. After all, if you're not covered, it's like not even having insurance. Make sure you're covered for whatever claim might come your way with InsuranceChicken.com, helping you peck out great insurance deals in your area. You need insurance on your car anyway. Why not get great rates for great insurance from InsuranceChicken.com? That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for the Mint Mobile question of the day. It comes your way, courtesy of Mintervention.com. Question for you, Heidi. Stats show the average person does this 5 times a week at work. What is it?
Oh, geez.
Not me. I never do this. Ever. Never.
Go on to Facebook.
No. Lie to my boss. Heidi's my boss. I just lied to her about not going on Facebook. So. Mint Mobile question of the day comes your way, courtesy of Mintervention.com.
What could you do with an extra $129 a month? In this economy, every penny counts. So an extra $129 each month would absolutely help. Well, 97% of us have a cell phone, and the average person pays $144 a month. Mint Mobile can help you save a mint. At just $15 a month, that's an average savings of $129 each month. It's time for a Mintervention. Switch and save today. Get this special offer at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Time now for some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. You've heard of pale ale, right? How about pizza ale? Ew. Colorado's Belgian Brewing Company has teamed up with the frozen pizza brand Tombstone to create IPA. Yeah, iPizza. You guessed it. Pizza-flavored beer. Brave enough to try it? Well, you can expect hints of crispy crust, tangy tomato sauce, and savory herbs and spices, followed by a finishing pepperoni kick while sipping the 7% limited edition Voodoo Ranger IPA, specifically for the boldest of beer and pizza lovers, according to their website. End quote.
No, thanks.
You know what?
I like pizza, but no, thank you.
Yeah, I think we've gone too far on some things. Anybody shocked that this is happening in Colorado? Anybody? No? None at all? Didn't think so. Weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for the list brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. You've heard of misconceptions. I have some myth conceptions, which sounds like Mike Tyson saying misconceptions. You should change your car's oil every 3,000 miles. Well, for older cars, yes. Today, you don't have to. You can go up to 20,000 miles, depending on... Yeah, so you better ask ahead of time.
Depending on the kind of oil.
The kind of oil and the kind of car.
Yeah.
So they're going, don't get too worried if you go over by a mile or two. Egypt's Great Pyramids were built by slaves. Well, they say that was written by a historian that didn't really know. Now they're saying there's evidence that they were built by tens of thousands of skilled workers who were paid handsomely, and some were even paid in beer. Another myth conception.
Probably not pizza beer.
Yeah. In medieval England, streets were riddled with human waste. No, generations of school kids were taught. They just threw it out the windows, but they're going, no, that's not how they did it. They had strict laws against that. If you had a nosebleed, you better tilt your head back. Doctors say, no, do the opposite. Put your nose forward. If you tip it back, you can choke on blood.
Oh.
Rabbits eat carrots. Now, this myth is probably because the green leaves on the carrots, they eat that, but they steer clear of the actual carrots. It causes indigestion in rabbits.
Really?
And half of marriages end in divorce. No, that's not actually true at all. They say the divorce rate could climb this high, but it really hasn't ever been that high. it's been going down. So that's good.
That is
Several
good news.
Misconceptions on today's list.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-310-5831. 800-310-5831. That's 800-310-5831.
Time now for the quote of the day. Comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Our quote today from Ernest Hemingway, who said, "Always do sober what you said you'd do drunk. That will teach you to keep your mouth shut."
That's adorable.
It's a pretty good quote.
I do like that one.
It's like, oh no, I remember you.
I like that.
She said there was a thing that I wanted to be. I was on a committee and she wanted us to sponsor something. And then she sobered up and then she's like, how much is that? And we did do it. We followed through. And then we no longer did that. She's like, I don't want you on that committee anymore. All right. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. Here's a headline. A police officer spends $150 on cold weather supplies for a homeless man. I love this story. It's out of Georgia. Heartwarming display of compassion and generosity. A police officer is receiving widespread praise on social media for his selfless act towards a homeless man facing a cold, bitter night. The touching incident was captured on the officer's body camera, showcasing the extraordinary lengths that Sergeant Todd Heller went to help someone in need. The video begins with him approaching a homeless man who is holding a sign that read, "Waiting on a blessing." He was on the side of the road. In a simple yet profound gesture, Heller asked the man, "Do you want a blanket?" The two exchanged a handshake. Then he invited him to sit in the patrol car to warm up a bit. They drove to a Walmart, and he took some time to go through and help him get not just a blanket, but a bunch of stuff, because they had some cold weather that was on the way. $150 in his own money to get him some things like an insulated sleeping bag, toe warmers, some socks that were nice and thick. During the interaction, he said, "Would you like some canned goods?" But he said, "No, I appreciate you've done so much. You don't need to do that." It is just a really cool thing, isn't it, to see this? So many times you hear in the media stories that go completely the opposite of this. So I love the fact that when there's something positive like this, it also gets shared. And when this was shared with me, I said, oh, I got a spot for that.
I love it.
I've got a place for that for sure. It's our good news segment, and here it is. If you'd like to see this story, there's like video footage, there's some snapshots, all that go with this story. I've got a link to all of this in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to The John and Heidi Show.